All right, everybody. Episode 56. Grab a drink and let's have a party. Oh boy, wait till you see my guest tonight. Here we go. Live camera on right now. Come on in, folks. All right, people. Let's have a party. All right, let me switch it over to the plastic. And we are off. Yes. Come on in, people. Grab a drink, grab a seat. It's episode 56. I got a killer guest tonight. We're going to actually bring the guest on quick. Let's see here. Wow, we got people in here already. We got Ashworth, Sean, Peter, Corey. Come on in. All right. Before I begin, and before I bring in my guest, if you're new, hit that silly like and subscribe and notify, okay? I got crazy content on the way. I have killer show on Wednesday, killer show on Friday, and always one on Monday, and the content is always interesting, I'll give you that, as you know, and, yeah, that's the least you can do. For the donors out there, grazie. Thank you so much, guys. It really means a lot, and all the money goes right in the show, as you well know. Rick Sherman, come on in. The other thing I want to say, this show has a game built into the chat. So when you're in the chat, you can play a game. All right? This is fun stuff. If you want to know how many points you have, and you all have points. If you're even new, you have points. Hit exclamation point, and then right beside it, write the word points. Watch, somebody will do it in about 2 seconds. Once you do that, you'll know how many points you have that you can spend and gamble. If you want to know the rules, look in the description of the show, and you will see the rules to playing it. Sharky in the house, what's up? There we go, Peter Benedetti, exclamation point points. Already has 140 points. Now, if you want to gamble the points, you put exclamation point, risk, space, how many points you want to risk losing. Once you do that, you hit the space, the enter button. Oh, here we go. Rick, I think you got to put I don't know if you have to put a space, Rick. Let's see. Rick, do you have to put a space? So, Rick, I think you got to put a space after the word risk, and then 50. And then you will either win more points or lose the 50. You could triple it. It pays 2 to 1 right now. It's almost a 50% chance, 2 to 1. So there we go. Play the game. Come on in. Enjoy. Oh, here we go. Ashworth is risking 50. Someone's risking 100. Dude, someone just won 100 points. All right, here we go. Someone just lost 100 points. Folks, enjoy. Play the game. Save them up. In the description, there's a place where you can go spend the cash. And I'm going to keep adding prizes on there. Enjoy. I'm going to bring my guest on here in a second. Let me go check. Let's see. I believe. Let me see. There we go. Let me see. You can hear me, right? Let me put my headphones in here. I can't hear you. All right, folks, I'm going to bring my guest over. Hold on here. I'm now plugging in. Marcus, can you hear me? See, I can't hear you.
Yes, I can hear you now.
I think the audience can hear you, too. They can't see you yet. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you oh, gosh, they're gambling. I love it. I'm going to give you a little introduction to my pal. He's ready to roll here. I'm going to bring him on because we're going to flap our jaws like you can't believe. Um, yes, this is very reminiscent of the old Carney games, Ashworth. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. So my buddy, who I'm going to bring on, we've done a bunch of shows. We literally met on the boards of performing on stage. And I've known him for a long time now. And we do not get to hang out enough. So we're going to hang out tonight and we're going to have some fun. If you have questions, ask them. This is an interactive show. So if you have questions, put them in the chat. You can ask this guy anything. He is a professional juggler, a professional comedian. He tours the world. He performs on stages, cruise boats, nightclubs. He does the whole damn thing. He's the real deal. And it's proud to have him on my show. Dude, I'm going to bring him in right now. Right now, everybody give a nice evening hour welcome to the one and only Marcus Monroe. There he is. What up, brother? You are live on the internets. How are you?
Feels great. Feels great to finally make it on the internet.
Yay,
it's about
dude.
Time they've had me.
It's about time.
Stoked.
I love it. I'm going to bring myself over like this. Dude, let me know, ladies and gentlemen, one pause, Marcus, before we get rolling. Let me know if it's sounding good and looking good, because this whole Zoom thing with the split screen is all brand new for me. And literally about 10 minutes before we went online, I had a little meltdown because I couldn't figure something out. So let us know if it's cool. Marcus, how you feeling, brother?
I'm good. I wanted to do this outside, got my outside all set up, and then it just started raining random. I didn't know it was, but then it said in the weather it was supposed to rain.
Where are you right now? I don't even know where the hell you are. Are you in Brooklyn, Queens? Where are you, Manhattan?
I'm in Upper East Side.
You're in the Upper East Side. All right.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
It's
awesome.
raining. And I was like, but maybe later in the hour we can venture out there. I just don't want to get wet.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. And I'm noticing something right beside you. It's got a green glow.
Yeah.
You get it. You get it.
I love it.
Look
I
at
love
that.
it.
Look at mine's too damn hot right now to pick up. Let me see. Ow, look. Oh.
Mine doesn't get that hot.
What?
Like it takes a while for the wax to melt and start like doing the thing.
It does take
but
a while.
It doesn't get too hot.
I've been leaving mine on all day. Oh yeah, you're in the phase that's fun where it's just starting to goop around and move.
Yeah.
I like that. That's the fun part because mine's been going all day. I wake up in the morning and turn mine on. Thank you, Sharky. Thank you, Sharky.
Thank you, Sharky. Greetings, Ashworth. The longer I keep mine on, the more like the smaller the bubbles, like the wax droplets get. Does that make sense?
Yes, they start to like get into little bunches. Like I get it. Yes. Wow.
I don't mind it, but it's just I like it when they're bigger and thicker.
Yeah, me
too.
But
it's cool. I like lava lamps, man. And like I bought this because I wanted to make a video where I like destroy it and do like fun like sciencey things. Like I wanted to see if I could add food coloring and other things in there.
I love
and just see what happens.
I love it.
But I fell in love with it and I don't want to wreck it.
I get it, man. How I ended up getting this one and doing the whole show, which I did you got to see it, was because I wanted to buy the big one. They make one that's this big. Well, guess what?
Sure.
It takes 8 hours for it to start getting ready, and you're only supposed to run them for 10. So
okay, so you could just turn it on before you go to sleep. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Dude, that's what you got to do. But I think people want to see that. People definitely want to see that.
I want to get the big one. It's this big. But
what's stopping you?
Well, I don't think I'll use it that much. So here's what I want to do. I want to invent one that like I can leave on all the time, or at least figure out a way. Like, why 10 hours? Why can't I just leave it on?
You're gonna have to ask the manufacturer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think like the light in it gets pretty hot. So I wonder if it's a fire hazard if it's on too long. Maybe it'll burn out or something.
I mean, I don't know. I love these things though. They're a part of our, modern pop culture. Like the Pez.
Yeah. Well, I like Pez. Yes, the bunny Pez. Really, that's nice.
Here's my favorite kind. This is the original shape of Pez.
Yeah, because they wanted it to look like a lighter. So you
Yep.
had that. They
Yeah.
wanted that. I did. My wife got me into that podcast, Stuff You Should Know, and they did one on Pez.
Oh, they did. I'm gonna look at it because
So
I've been,
they
dude.
did.
I have right now in the other room here like 500 plus Pez that Rick Sherman, who's in the chat, him and his
Yeah.
wife gave me because they didn't. They were like,
Oh,
yes, he's in the chat. So
Rick
Sherman,
Sherman's in the chat.
he's
Oh,
in the
great.
chat.
What's up, man?
Buddy, Sherman, I told him, yeah, if you give me this stuff, I'm gonna do a wall. So I'm getting ready to do a whole Pez wall.
That's
So,
unbelievable.
yeah.
I mean, I don't have any Pez dispensers, but I
I'm gonna
love.
give you
Sometimes I
one.
just please. Sometimes I love just to eat the candy. Like I'll buy just Pez without the dispensers,
Okay.
and people think I'm psycho, but I like the way it tastes.
Out of these, what would you say is your favorite here? Just or would you like to try? I'm very curious. We have orange. Actually, here, what
Classic.
am I doing? Here. Let me use my hand cam. It might.
Oh.
I'm just curious though if my hand cam right now. Oh yeah, you can see that. I've got my notes, my iPhone,
Hell yeah.
my goblet, my fake beer, and my notes. Here, look. This is orange.
Okay,
This
this is a good one.
Cotton candy.
Oh, that's it.
Okay, wait, hold on. Lemon is actually one of my favorites, even though it doesn't sound eventful. Cola
Oh,
and
wow.
and chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate doesn't do it for me.
All right, now-
It would either be the cola or the cotton candy.
All right, well,
Because
here-
I don't drink soda, but I like the flavor of cola.
I'm gonna give you a couple. We're gonna figure out how to
Oh,
get you
man.
some. So here's the thing with Oh wait, where's the Zoom thing? Here we go. Here's the thing with chocolate. When I heard chocolate Pez, I thought it was just chocolate that Pez made.
Mhm.
And I got the Pez, and it tastes like a Necco wafer.
Oh, those are good.
Exactly. So, and then I did some research. Most people don't realize it, but the flavor of chocolate that they associate with chocolate is actually the flavor of milk.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, that it all adds up.
It's basically a milk flavor, and the chocolate part is barely in any of these things because it's actually like a coffee, it's like a strong coffee bean.
I have one of my best friends growing up hated chocolate. Like
Ooh.
when we had our birthdays in grade school and everyone brought cupcakes, if you brought chocolate, you had to bring a vanilla because this guy just hated chocolate.
Wow.
But he drank milk, so I'm thinking maybe he's crazy.
There you go. He didn't know.
He didn't know.
So, listen, I had some questions. I really do, because I've
Oh.
known you for a long time, and
Yeah, where do we meet, dude?
exactly, I don't know. What's up, people? Come on in, grab drinks, people. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know either.
Or hold on. I don't think it was at Coney Island.
No.
It might have been at either Les Scandell.
Yeah.
Did you do Vava Voom Room back in the day? Maybe. Yeah.
Oh, was that like a Nelson Lugo show?
No, Vava Voom Room was Kate Valentine's burlesque show at the Fez.
No, I don't think I did.
That was my favorite burlesque show in the old days, by far.
Well, I think we probably met at the Scandal then because I started doing that show in 2007 or 2006. No, I think 2006. It was like the first like paid work I got in New York.
Yep.
And so shout out to Bonnie Dunn, who
Yes.
Sally is no longer with us.
Cheers
but
to Bonnie Dunn.
Cheers, absolutely. She was so sweet, and I was in college, and she gave me a show to do at work. She gave me work every Saturday night.
Yeah, dude,
And
she's the first one to
I
hire
loved
me
it.
in the nightclub scene, actually.
Yeah, that's maybe. So I'm assuming that's where we met, or
Yeah.
that's where I heard about you, or vice versa.
Most
but
likely.
that was at the cutting room, and they would have the old cutting room location, not
I
where it is
remember.
now.
Yeah.
And they had the New York City Blues Devils as a band.
I know
playing-
Danny Biondo very well. Yes.
Danny, yeah, dude. I went to Danny's house. He cut my hair like he was a hairstylist. I went to his house on the Lower East Side.
Yay.
I paid him like $50. He gave me a haircut.
My bass
great.
guitar that I toured the world with, I bought off of him.
So your Toilet Boys guitar?
The bass that I made a lot of records with and still use was Danny Biondo's. Small
Wow.
World.
That is
Wow,
a small
dude.
world.
So we met
It's
at a
great.
nightclub. Oh, my mama's in. Mwah, mama, how are you? Um, um, we met in a nightclub, and I'm always telling people, like, I like still doing the nightclubs, and I'm sure you do too, because it keeps your
Love it.
chops up, bro.
Absolutely. I think you need that, and it's always a humbling experience. I mean, you sometimes get great crowds, you sometimes get a lot of like bachelorette parties or stuff
Yeah.
like that. Those aren't very fun. You get a lot of finance guys on bachelor parties.
Yep.
You get a lot across the board at little anniversaries, birthdays,
Yep.
any occasion people want to celebrate. They'll come to like a show like that.
It's true. You get the
Hmm.
mixed bag. They're drinking.
Yes.
They're in a mood. Oh, then the other thing I'm always telling people, and you can identify with this, a lot of these nightclub acts, it's like pretty girl, the hot chick, a male hot guy stripping, and then the
Yeah.
magic guy or the juggler guy. So,
And people are like, "Wait, what is going on now?" They're
right,
like,
right.
they
So we got to win them
I did
over.
we have to win them over. The funniest one I ever did was the Scandal, for whatever reason, this booked a night at a strip club in Queens.
Wow.
And so like my wife and I went, and they didn't tell like the people there that there was going to be a variety show. So there's like these dancers, and then I go on the exact same stage, like with like I found myself at one point like holding one of the poles that someone was just like riding on.
And you're like,
And
hi.
yeah, and I was like, oh god, like I'm used to like holding onto a mic stand when I talk, and now I just like take the mic stand and put it behind me. But I couldn't. I
I
was just
love
like, oh,
it.
I'll just lean on this pole because I'm just used to being comfortable on stage. But it took a while. But I actually think like our acts went over fairly well because I mean no one was expecting it. But you go to a strip club as an escape from the outside world, just like you do any type of show.
Right.
So we ended up filling whatever void these people wanted, and it wasn't the void they thought they were missing in their life when I start juggling stuff, but and telling jokes. But it was, I remember that was kind of a fun time.
That is great. Peter Benedetti won finally. Congrats, Peter.
Yes, Peter,
So
you did
as
it,
a
buddy.
juggler, I don't know this. I mean, you started as a juggler? That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you started as a
Yeah.
juggler, and then obviously, let me guess, you started adding humor and comedy right away? I'm guessing.
Actually, well, yes and no.
Okay,
It was
this is
kind
the
of like
interesting stuff.
I went through phases.
Okay.
So when I was like, I'm gonna take you way back. When I
All
was
right.
like seven or eight, I was into magic. Then
Wow.
I sold, yeah, and I sold my magic stuff to my best friend Ben Seidman, who's like a really famous magician.
I know him. Yeah.
We grew up together, went to the same high school and everything. And then I started doing juggling shows, and I would get booked to do shows, but like in high school, I was. This is gonna sound weird, but I was like trying to make juggling cool because it wasn't cool,
Right,
and
right.
it still isn't, and it's still impossible to make cool. Um, so I wasn't that funny. I wasn't like a comedian
Wow.
but then like I slowly realized, okay, I can't make this cool. I can't sustain a show of high energy, flashy juggling for a whole hour. I need to be funny. And I thought like I was a funny person. So like there when I first started juggling when I was like 9 years old, I was like pretty funny. Like I dressed up like a
Right.
clown. I did that whole thing, rode unicycles, did
No
pratfalls, and
reserves.
then
You just went for it.
I went for it full
Right.
on. And then when I was in high school, I was like, no, I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna be like the cool juggler. And then even when I moved to New York originally, I was like I would do nightclubs, so I didn't have to be funny. I just had to be like the cool
The flash
juggler
act.
throwing
Yep.
flash act. But like my personality has always been a little fairly awkward and always kind of like I like making people laugh. I loved comedy, and I was like, okay, you know what? Let's just make it a comedy juggling show. So I did that for years and years and years, but now I'm like, it's so funny because I'm doing my act, but I don't even juggle anymore. I
I
just do
know.
stand up.
I
So it's
know.
so funny. Like I don't know, like the thing I love about performing and I love watching you is that you're always evolving because you wear a lot of hats as on stage. You're a bassist, you're a singer, you're a ventriloquist, you're a magician,
All of those.
you know, a follower of Christ, a lot of stuff. So I'm just
Yeah.
trying to you know, find like what hat fits me at whatever time.
I mean, dude, honestly, the first time I saw you, I don't remember where, but I'd seen you a bunch, and I brought people to see. I saw your one man show and stuff, and
Oh,
and
thank you.
and
Yeah,
the thing that sells your show to me, and I'm picky. I really don't like most performers, and
sure.
I don't like. This is gonna sound funny. I don't like character driven performance.
Okay,
Okay,
that makes sense.
right? I don't like it. I think it ruins most acts.
Yeah.
So what I do like is when someone, and it doesn't have anything to do with your costume or what you're wearing or even makeup, because you could be in a clown face and still not be playing a character per se, right?
That's
So,
true.
right, and so I always like it when a person is themselves on stage, but turned to 11.
Yes, exactly.
That's all
Spinal
it
Tap.
is.
I love it.
It's 11,
Yes.
and that's what I saw when I saw your act. I was like, all of these funny elements that we're seeing are actually part of him. Like, it really is how he is. If you were hanging out with him at home, I guarantee you there's some of these bits in there. And you're just sharing yourself.
Yeah, and that's why I love your act too, because I think you and I are both self-aware enough to play off our strengths and to it's okay to be vulnerable on stage and not
100%.
always have to be taken so seriously. I can't stand when people do that. When
Yeah.
That's why I could never perform it. People would always say, "Oh, do you want to be in Cirque du Soleil? Is that your dream?"
Oh,
And then I'll see some of these shows and like there's a juggler, but he's an ant. And then like he
yeah.
moves like an ant, but then he juggles. And I'm like, I don't know, like it's cool for other people, sure, but I don't think I can do that. And that's
Yeah.
also why transitioning to just stand up has been easier for me because I don't have to lose a character because I was never a character. I
Right.
was always just me. And it's not like I have to find out who I am on stage and all these things. I just have to
Exactly.
be, if I'm honest, I can find the truth in that.
Exactly. Somebody asked, I think Ashworth asked, what was your first objects juggled? Like when you were like, all right, I'm going to juggle. What was the.
So I started with the Klutz book. And if you know,
I have
then
that.
you already know, but the Klutz book comes with three bean bags that are squares for some reason.
So they don't roll? So
It's
they don't
the
roll?
only,
I don't know.
but they're, yeah, I mean, they roll a little bit. So that was the first
Wow.
object I started. So I started with those. Then I did scarves, but usually you do scarves first, then balls. Then I did rings and clubs, knives, fire, norches, chainsaws.
Oh, yeah, he's
Wet,
got. The Norch is the.
the Norch is my claim to fame, and it's the stupidest thing, but no one ever thought of it. I just took
You should tell them.
knife. The Norch is I took a knife and a torch, then I taped them together to create the Norch. And it's like, it's the most simplest idea but like no one had done it. I researched it. No one had taped the two together because people are always like, juggle knives on fire. And I'm like, I can juggle a knife and a torch. And I remember it was like 2003. I was with my mom and I was like, Norch. She's like, what? I'm like, and I drew it and she was driving our minivan. I just drew a picture of it. I'm like, this is what I need to do. So I went home and I just made them,
Wow.
and then it became a thing. And I remember the first show I did them on was like a Boy Scout show in Wisconsin, and I just videotaped it, and I did the Norch. I think I juggled one Norch, one barbed wire baseball bat, and one stun baton or something.
Wow.
It was like,
you got to bust that act out.
I know, right?
That's
I
great.
seriously do. Yeah,
wow.
It was pretty nutty, man.
I
What was
love
your first magic trick you did?
I mean, if you go way back, I mean, like, I was like 4 or 5. My granddad gave me a magic set that was too old for me. It was like, a little box with tricks, and I was too young to actually learn anything. But I learned in there one trick. Everybody's probably seen it. You've seen it. It's a little round box, and you drop a $50, put the lid, and then you put nails through it.
Okay,
And
yeah.
It looks like they're going through the $50. Now
And they poke out, right?
They poke out, yeah. Now it's a plastic coin, which is stupid because what the hell is a plastic coin? In the old days, it was a $50. That was the first just experience with a trick. When I first started, like, really trying to learn, when I was in first grade in kindergarten, I had the book. Well, look, it's right here. I was showing somebody the other day. This book changed my life.
Spooky tricks.
This is it. This is the one that changed. If somebody says name the book that changed your life, it's this.
It's
100%.
spooky tricks, 100%.
100%. So all the tricks in that, and then when I got a little older, I went into a magic shop. I was on a school trip, and the guy was like, "Do you want to?" Actually, I wasn't on a school trip for this one. I think it was with my mom. I think Mama was here. The guy said to me, "Do you want to make money or have fun?" He literally said that to me in Philadelphia Magic Company. He goes, "You want to do this for just fun, or do you want to actually make some money?" And I was like, "Make money." And he literally was like, "Then you need to change your whole outlook. You need to do stuff that you can do in someone's house living room situation that a group of people will enjoy."
Yeah.
That was it. He said that, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
And you're doing it, so it's great.
That was it. That changed my life. So
Wow. I will say, even though I don't do any magic, I love going to magic shops. I think there's something so fascinating and mysterious.
Yeah.
And even if you're not a magician, I would say go to a magic shop. Go to, especially these ones. There's not, but the ones that are they're precious and they're gems.
Yep.
And
I mean, Tannins is great.
Tannins is great, but I'm even talking about these, like you go to like some weird town in the middle of Iowa, and there's a magic shop, and it's in some guy's house, and it's in the basement, and his wife wants him to close it, but he's just like, "Nope, I'm not," and like the stuff they have in these places is pretty sweet. Like,
I'm always going to those because I'm looking for vintage stuff. There's some things that
you'll find some great stuff at these places. Yeah, you'll find some great stuff. I was at a I was in oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, just keep going.
I was in Branson, Missouri.
Yes.
And we found, my wife and I were walking around, and we found a magic shop, and I went in, and they had Magic magazine, and Ben Seidman was on the cover of Magic magazine. I was like, "Oh my God, I want to."
That's great.
And then I opened it up, and they featured me too. So that I felt good.
I love it.
It was good. It was good. Cool. But yeah, I love those magic shops, man. It's.
I used to work in them. Now, when you work in them, it's a different vibe. I will be honest.
Oh, imagine it's a business, but
the thing that drove me nuts working in the magic shop, and it's funny because my mentor Jeff Sheridan, he used to come in. He used to always look at me in the eye and go, "You're in control of what all these guys have. Think about it before you sell this stuff." He got dead like, don't. He's basically selling. Don't sell this stuff to the dummies. And I really didn't. I definitely didn't. I don't care how much money was involved. There were certain tricks. If I was like, that guy's a dummy, I ain't selling him that stuff.
That's a real thing. They'll withhold purchases if they don't think you're going to use it right.
At least
or
good
if they
shops.
think you might expose the gimmick. Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
I did that. And I always tried to really. People would come in and go, "I have a show tonight. I need a trick I can do." I'd be I would be like, "What?" And that happened all the time. And I would be like, "Oh, dude, practice, man, practice."
Well, yes, the good tricks you're going to have to practice. There are some that work on their own, which we've all seen.
Yeah.
And the thing I will say is that you can do good stuff with a self-working trick if you build a proper original presentation around it.
Yes.
It's just like juggling. Some of the easiest tricks doesn't matter if you have a good story to tell, or if you're interesting while doing it, you can do anything. You don't have to be a good juggler to make a living juggling, just like magic, because we all know people, not mentioning any names, who are terrible at it, but for some reason are making the most money.
That's right.
Over anyone. But
it's true. I'm always looked at it like, you can be a master juggler, sleight of hand expert, and a horrible showman, or you can be a master showman and bad at sleight of hand. One of those guys can pull off all of the above. The guy who's a master showman can go out there and he doesn't have to do anything. You could give him a Sharpie.
Do you like watching terrible acts live? Because you just like...
It depends. There's the ironically bad act that's kind of fun to watch.
Sure.
It has to do with their character. Like, if they're oblivious to it, or they're doing trying their hardest, I can watch those. But the ones that have like an ego, you know, that's the one that I can't. I get angry.
I love watching a good I like not a train wreck, but I like watching people who are just starting out and
Yeah,
trying to figure out who they are.
yeah,
I think that's really interesting. And I think if you're a performer out there, you can also learn a lot by watching these types
you
of
can.
acts. You can almost fill in the blanks and kind of see from an outside eye, different perspective, what they need
Yes,
to do, what they need to do to fill in the blanks and to make their acts a
yes,
little bit more full.
yes, and watching it as if you're seasoned and you've been doing shows, it's fun to watch someone go through the arc of watching it. You're like, wow, I used to do that kind of thing,
Totally.
and then you're like, okay, hopefully that guy will learn that.
And for the record, I'm still learning. I'm not
Me
a
too.
master by any means, and
Me
I
too.
don't claim to be.
That's
But
the
I'm not a beginner, so it's fun to watch other people because I've been there too, and I'm not making fun of anybody.
right.
There's been plenty of times where I'm still kind of evolving in different areas, but I think as a performer, if you're not always growing and changing, then you're just doing something, you're stuck and you're doing something wrong, or just
Yep.
it's one thing to not change because you don't want to. It's another thing to not change because you don't know how to.
Well, what you're talking about right now, what we're doing right now, this discussion is what a large part of this show is. This show that I do every week, I have a stack of philosophy books here that I read 3 hours in the morning, and then I make a bunch of notes, and then I do what we're doing right now. I go through and I dissect the learning process and what it means and what failure means, and so as an entertainer, it's almost like you're throwing yourselves to the wolves, right? You're exposing yourself to this large group of humans, and you're going to go out and do these risky things, which would be, you're throwing objects and trying to catch them, and you're throwing jokes out with the hope of a laugh, and at any minute one of these things could fail, but you're risking that. And what does that mean? You know? Like
Right.
I know some
Right.
people that are performers and they shouldn't be performing. They shouldn't be. You can see it in their bones that they're out there trying to do it, and it's never going to work because of how they're relating to the audience. You're like, dude, you're in your head so much, it's never going to come out. So how do you get that person to come out of the I don't know. That's why I'm always talking about it, cuz I don't know. Like you said, Socrates said, the only thing I know
Mhm.
is I don't know. Like
Right.
it's never ending. The questions just go. Um,
Right.
but
You're absolutely
flight
right.
time, being on stage, you, like me, you've done the nightclub, the cruise, the little kid show, the
Hmm.
adult show, the bachelorette. If you do all of the above over and over again and you're a little smart, you start to get the nuance to all the, you know, because like think
It's
about survival. You pick what works. You're like, that's gonna work,
right.
and I'm gonna do it, and it's gonna work. You know?
The same exact thing applies to writing a new bit. You
Yeah,
present it one way, in a year from now, it'll be completely different.
correct.
So
Yeah,
the same thing, trying to put it on stage, bomb with it, live in that moment, take notes. How can you fix it?
yeah.
There's very few jokes and routines that I do that started day one and are the same exact way now. They're so different. They're so different.
Yeah.
I'm working on a lot of new bits right now, doing, talking about getting on stage and not acknowledging what we've just all been through
Oh,
is a big mistake. So I'm trying to figure out how I can talk about COVID without having, or the pandemic,
I see.
without having to actually say COVID, remind people of the shit or sorry, the crap that's going on
Yeah,
outside.
like you need to
Um,
make fun of it in a manner that they're gonna enjoy too, or like at least,
totally.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I get it.
And so
Yeah,
that finding that has been a challenge for me because you want to present it in a way that you haven't seen anyone else do it. And even if it's just one line or two, it's great. But when you see someone go on stage and they're not talking about it, they're not acknowledging the
yeah.
obvious,
There's an
you're like,
elephant.
how are you not self-aware enough to just, yeah, there's an elephant. How are you not talking
Yeah,
about the pink elephant? I saw
yeah.
someone on the chat here. They said, who were some, Ashworth asked me, who were some of the people that inspired you?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Who's
wanted
your
to
mint?
get to that real quick just before I forgot, because I think that's a great question. So thank
Yeah.
you for the question, and I am looking at the chat too.
Oh,
So
cool.
if you see me looking off,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
what I'm doing
distracted.
too. I'm like,
I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to look and see what
we get good
questions we got.
questions here.
Well, people, like, a lot of people inspire me, and I'll give you some names, but people who you don't have to be a celebrity to inspire me. I think a lot of the comedians I like are people who are just hard working comics who are good writers. But I fell in love with Andy Kaufman when I was in middle
Oh,
school,
yeah.
and he was definitely one of my biggest influences because he taught me just to take risks and to be fearless on stage.
That's what it
And and
is.
and because of that, I think I was able to have the confidence to do what I do on stage. I'm not saying I'm Andy Kaufman level,
Yeah.
but I use,
Yeah.
his way of he was just so unique
He
and different.
committed.
And
He committed
yes,
120%. I mean, he was
and
so
he
in it.
didn't care, and he did it for him. He didn't care about the audience if they got it or not,
Didn't
because he
care.
knew eventually they would catch on. He knew eventually they'd be like, oh, he's in on the joke.
Well, the Mighty Mouse
Yeah,
skit.
that was so good.
So when I first saw that, there's like this part. The first time I show that to anybody, there's like a good like minute where they don't get it. They're just like, "What is going on?" And then you're
They
like, "No,
think
no,
it's a
no."
train wreck.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you're like, "No, just wait." And then eventually, it's
It's so simple.
it's so
It's one
simple.
of the simplest, but yet so layered. And like, the just when you think about the outfit he wore, having the record player right next to him,
Yeah.
the
All the
space
detail.
the space in between, his nervous look, like everything to that
Yeah.
it's
The way
not
his
just
hair's
him lifts.
combed, he's got the little. He looks.
Every detail is perfect,
Yeah.
and it is, he didn't overlook a single thing. You might have thought People might have thought, oh, he's not funny, but like everything he did was so calculated, even though he might have made it look like it wasn't. I
Ah,
think he was very, very smart.
you'll appreciate this analogy.
Okay.
I was trying to come up with a good analogy for magic, and you could apply this to what you're doing exactly, but it's got to look like we're playing jazz, but in reality, we're playing a very complex classical piece of music.
I mean, same with comedy.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing, especially when you're riffing with an audience. When you're riffing, when you're doing crowd work, you're
Yeah.
trying to make it seem like you're cracking jokes on the spot when really you're going through the Rolodex in your head of
Yeah.
things you've pre-written. A lot of times you can have good spontaneous improvisational moments on stage, of course, but
Yeah.
a true pro would have like some in the back here just ready to fire off at any moment to make it look authentic. And I think all performances in general should look like jazz. When you're doing a magic show, when you're
Oh,
doing a
yeah.
juggling show, you want the audience to feel like this is the first time and last time anyone's going to see this act
Yeah.
presented in this way before.
That's it right there. How about like out of the park, like when people ask me my magic influences, honestly, my answers are Elvis and Liberace. That's like two
I
big
love
ones.
that. That's
Right away, that's
perfect.
the
And
first thing I
and I
say
see
is
that.
those two.
I didn't that is so great. I completely get that. And because they were that's so great.
That's my two
I think
biggest ones.
I love that.
I got to see
That makes
Liberace once. I saw him live.
no
That's why I
way.
have him tattooed. My mom is in. Mama, you in here? Me and her went in Atlantic City. I was 12, 13, I don't know, 10 to 12. Yeah, life changing. I still remember it
So
like yesterday.
Atlantic City, wow.
Yeah.
I never got into him. I don't know if that's,
I mean,
but I saw this. I think it was like this the under the chandelier. What
candelabra
was it?
behind the
Yeah, that
candelabra.
so good. I loved
Well,
it. I loved that
that
movie.
movie's a good movie, but it made me a little mad. And you know what?
Why?
I'll tell you why. I talked about. I should have brought this up on my show last Friday. I'm always telling people there's no such thing as fact. And they're like, "What do you mean? A fact is a fact." And I go, "No, fact isn't truth. There's a difference. Actually, they actually have different meanings, but like for instance, in the Houdini movie, oh, I was 12, my mom just said it. You remember the Houdini movie with Tony Curtis? At the end of that movie, Houdini dies on stage. Okay? This is 20 years after Houdini's death, which isn't that long before. And it would be like making a movie about Joey Ramone today, and he dies at the end on stage by getting shot. You'd be like, what? That didn't happen. So, but the thing is, that became a fact of Houdini's life because you can go, look, it's in the movie. So if you print something in the newspaper, whether it's true or not, doesn't matter. It literally becomes fact. So, because you can go, hey, look, it says it here. Well, go source the fact now. Where they got that, you'll find a hole eventually. The Liberace movie, they used the disgruntled boyfriend's book to make the story. And there's a part in there that's provable BS. There's a scene where Liberace's in like a gay nightclub, like literally doing stuff in public, and he never did that because he sued the National Enquirer in England because they said he was gay. And so he really was tight about it. He did not do any of that stuff in public. He kept it at home because he was suing people that were calling him gay. And the disgruntled boyfriend also said he made him get the facelift, and that's why that movie is a great movie. It's funny, it's sad, the acting is fantastic, but it made him as an artist. It added a new fact to his life, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's not. If anybody sees that, they're gonna think they know his story, and I'm like, that's not his story. That is. When
I saw that movie,
yeah,
I don't even remember the scene you're talking about. But what I did see was a man who was so devoted to his art.
Well, that's the main thing.
That was like the main takeaway for me from that was this guy, brilliant at what he did it in a way no one thought. So when I said I wanted to make juggling cool, he was trying to do the same thing with playing a piano.
Yeah, he wanted to be a rock star and play classical music.
Right.
Which is impossible.
But who says you can't do that? But who says you can't? Well, how? I mean, do you think it's impossible now, though?
No.
You would have thought at the time.
No,
but
never.
Now you're
I would never think that's impossible now. No way.
Right.
There's a way to do it.
I think there's a way to do pretty much anything like that.
I agree. He did it as survival, too. It was a survival tactic. He was a nightclub dude. No one was paying attention. So he started putting the candelabra, lighting the candles like a little ritual. I'm always talking about when you do ritual things on stage, it draws people in. So he lights the candles. You know, he sits down. They're like, "Ooh, now they're watching."
That's all street performing.
That's it. He got it, and he started dressing better. You know, he started dressing.
Yeah. Well, that's debatable.
Well, yeah,
but he definitely upped it a couple notches.
He dressed to stand out. Yeah, he dressed to, and I remember when I saw his show. I mean, like your show. I was telling somebody the other day about you that, you know, you can do a full show. You can do an hour-and-a-half show. You have video segments, and you have comedy bits, and you have multiple juggling bits. You have audio. You have the whole gambit. Liberace did the same in his live show. He had 2 different movies that showed on a screen.
Wow.
He had a car that comes out. He flies at the end on the wire. But he also would bring one of the grand finale bits that wasn't in the movie is he takes one of the old ladies out of the audience and he dances with her on stage. He picks one old lady and it's beautiful. You're like, wow, he just made that old lady's dream come true. You know, like it's so cool. And I always took him very seriously as a kid. Like,
oh, sure. I think that was a thing with him is that it seemed like he took himself kind of seriously.
Yeah, he had
because he became, I think, a caricature of himself.
He did,
which I think Elvis did as well, obviously. But I don't think that's why. But tell me why you like each one of them and why they have a big influence.
Well, Elvis. Okay, so Elvis was one of the first things I remember in early childhood. You know, like I just remember seeing his picture and just his image took me. Like, wow, this man's he's powerful. And he's a peacock of sorts. You know, he's got these crazy outfits and the whole thing. But then his singing is literally there's so many people that don't listen to Elvis anymore. They're into the Beatles and the Doors and all this old stuff. But they don't put on the early 70s Elvis records or 60s stuff. My God, the man could sing like nobody else. I mean, his voice. If you listen to some of his stuff, you're like, wow, this guy ain't auto-tuned. The thing that I liked about him on stage, and this is very subtle, he was a little shy. He had
Mm.
you wouldn't think of this because he's doing all the stuff, but when it comes time to talk to the audience and do some of his bits, he's a little mumbly and shy and awkward. And Michael Jackson also had that to me. They have this. There's one element
Right.
of their character. Liberace's not like that. Liberace's hello, I'm Liberace. Elvis is a little like, hey, what's up? He's a little mumbly and goofy and like he you can see him holding something off.
Well, that's definitely them being vulnerable, and that's definitely a trait that attracts a lot of people
Bam.
because when you're watching someone, you kind of want to see someone who has some of the same traits that you would have if you
Yep.
were on stage. And if you're not
Correct.
a performer and you're watching someone on stage and they seem a little shy or timid, you're
Yeah.
going to be like, "Oh, I can relate to this person. I can relate to them. They
Yeah.
don't have all the answers. Like this is great."
Yeah, that's exactly it. So that's why I've always been like that guy. He's this brilliant singer. He can dance. He the way he moves his body. Same with Michael
Yeah.
Jackson. Michael Jackson, when
Right.
he moves, no one moves like him.
No.
All these other pop stars to me are a blur. And these
Hmm.
guys are just like quick on the comments here. Interesting. One of the best parts of getting to see. Oh, thank you, Amanda. Someone's saying my professionalism's cool. Which I mean, dude, you're in show business.
Yes.
To me,
I
if you're
agree.
not professional, it's really bad. It's
Yeah,
really bad.
you
And
can
there's a
be
lot of it
you can
going
be
on.
as crazy and as seemingly off the cuff and chaotic as you want to on stage.
Yeah.
But when you're off stage, when you're conducting business, you have to maintain a professionalism. You have to pick up after yourself. You can't leave crap everywhere. Otherwise you're not going to get booked back.
Nope.
No one's going to want to work with you. But when you're on stage, I think that's when you can really just let it go and just do, be you
Exactly.
whoever you want to be.
The professional part to show business, like there's so many people that want to do what we do for free that there's no room for like taking it. Somebody brought up Freddie Mercury. Yeah, Freddie Mercury's another one.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
Yes.
he just walk on stage. He didn't have to do anything, and there's some energy. And then obviously
had
he
it.
sings. Yeah, he had the vibe.
Yeah, he
100%.
had it. He could, yeah. What an amazing
And I will
man.
give David Copperfield out of the magic world. As a child, I saw his TV specials. Right. The thing I
Sure.
liked about him was he could do a little comedy. Sleight of hand. He could do it. He was the real thing. He can.
He was very charming.
Charming, sleight of hand. He could be funny. He could do the sexy guy look. He could be goofy.
Yeah, he had that elegance of him that was like, he had that big head of hair
Yeah.
and
he
he
also
was
could
kind
get
of like
goofy.
the clean cut. He could get goofy, but he was also the guy like that you would want at your company corporate like annual meeting or something, but he could also work in Vegas.
Yeah.
He was very versatile in that way too.
Really, and I always give him props for being that good. I mean, he really was like the.
Do you know him?
I've met him once with other magician-y guys around, but I
Cool.
don't know him personally. No,
Got it.
I've met. I'm trying to think. Out of the old school magician guy, it's weird, man. Like, I've
I've
been
met
around
Lance Burton.
I've heard he's a great guy. I haven't met him.
Super nice. I went
Yeah.
with him. Okay, so I'm gonna name drop again, but
do
Ben
it.
Simon and I, we were in a 3-person show with Luke Germain, who is a
He's good.
great mentalist
Yeah.
from London, and the 3 of us went to see Lance Burton, and Lance was very gracious. And this is how you can tell someone is confident in themselves, because we had 3 young kids, like a juggler and a magician and a mind reader in his audience, and he, in the middle of the show, he had us stand up and like wave to the audience, and he introduced us as like the new generation of variety performers.
Wow,
And it was
that's
like
great.
he didn't have to do that at all,
That's
but
great.
it was just like, wow, like what a nice thing to do. Like I wouldn't think about doing that.
He did it to my mentor guy, Jeff Sheridan.
Oh, no way.
And I think it got him choked up because, dude, no one gives him props because he was the street guy in the 60s, 70s. He was the man.
hands
like,
down.
He had
Yeah.
like a crowd waiting for him every day. And like he did it to him. And I remember he told me, he was like, yeah, he's like, I didn't expect that. And it totally got me in the heart. And I was like, wow, that's sweet. So I've heard he's a sweet guy.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And
Yeah,
he's
I
good.
think
He's great.
Oh yeah, he's a
Oh.
good magician. See, a lot of those early Vegas guys had to be good magicians. They could not rely on TV shows. I actually don't even really know who would be considered not a good magician who's like famous in the world. I
Well,
mean, I'm sure there.
there's a lot of those Vegasy guys that four-wall the theater on their parents'
Yes,
dime, and
sure.
hire a costume designer, a dance choreographer. I mean, there's a bunch of those.
Yeah,
And
I'm talking like the classic Vegas guys, like the Copperfield, the Lance Burtons, the Penn and
Siegfried,
Tellers, like
Siegfried
Siegfried,
would.
like those people were like legit good at what they did.
I agree.
And now, yeah, you're right. Now you have these people coming in, like, and they have a room at the Hollywood, Planet Hollywood or something, and they're,
Yeah,
they have one. Oh, Matt King, want to put him in the good
he's
category.
good. He's good.
It's great, but yeah, but so that there's a lot of people that just,
Yeah.
but it's hard. It's harder these days, I think, to get to. I don't know.
Hmm.
I was having a discussion with someone lately, and they were, or last week, and they were like, "Is it harder to make it now, or is it,
That's a
or
good
is it
question.
easier?" And I was
I
like,
think
"Well,
it's.
I think it's almost harder in a way because you have all this like how my wife and I had this conversation that you have like a piece of pizza and you have to like fill in all the pieces of pizza with social media,
Ah.
with professionalism, with a good show, with a good look. You have to have a good web presence. You have to have all these things to fit in to be a good performer, but then to actually be like a percent that like makes it, meaning what? Like you have your own TV show or you have your own show in Vegas. I don't know what making it means,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I wonder if it's harder or not.
Dude, when we were kids, all you had to do to be a professional magician would be to have a business card and a brochure.
Sure.
There was no website.
Yeah.
There was nothing else. Maybe an answering service, but yeah, that was it. You had a business card and a brochure, and you were ready to roll. You start mailing the brochure.
Yep. I had a business card, and then I would mail out VHS tapes of like my performances to agents and stuff.
Yeah.
I even sent one to Michael Jackson because I was like, I love the dude, and I heard he likes kids.
He likes magicians.
So
too.
I was like, maybe. I never heard back, but
you
yeah,
got to do an act. That's a good bit, that's a good comedy bit.
What? Tell me, what is it?
Right, no, like mailing tapes around and be like, yeah, I mailed one to Michael Jackson.
I bet you the people at the post office didn't even mail it because I would come in with like all these weird, so like I didn't really know what like a press kit when it went into a press kit. So I'd get like photos of like glamour shots made, and I'd get like cool art. I mean, if I go to my parents' house, they still have a room of all my stuff that I'm sure has like the most embarrassing photos of me trying to be cool or.
I got it.
Oh man, so cringy.
I love it. I mean, this stuff is great. We could chat for literally hours about this shit because it really is kind of charming to just go through this whole thing and how we got somehow involved, and it's when we're all old, we're gonna look back and be like, holy crap. I'm sure you must have done some jobs that you're like, wow, I can't believe that was a job I just did. Like
I couldn't say no when I was younger, and I just until recently I was at the point where I can say no to a gig if I don't want to do it. But it took me a while to be like, to pump the brakes and to be like, I don't really need to do this gig. I don't,
I remember
sometimes,
when I started doing that.
Yeah.
Like, nah, that's not for me.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, why not? You booked?" I'm like, "It's just really, I just wouldn't be good at it. Like, I don't like to do roving stuff. Like, sometimes people will want to book a juggler to just like walk around the mall.
That's what I do a lot of those. Yeah.
I can't. As a juggler though, it's different because like there's no, you're juggling already.
Yeah,
and like people like it just can't do it. Some people are good at it. I'm not. I'm just not that type of person.
Yeah, I've done gigs where the juggler guy looks like he's gonna pass out because it's just like for hours, and you're just like, holy crap. For magic, it's different because if I get a 2 hour, 2 hours is my max now. I barely do the 3 hour stuff. 2 hours a mingle.
Plenty.
I can.
Your feet hurt.
They hurt, and I'm talking the whole time, but I can just talk to them. That's what I do. I'm like, yo, what's up? We're gonna make friends, and then I do magic.
See, that's great. And if I did roving again, I probably would just talk to people, have some juggling props, and just talk. But now that I'm transitioning just to more to comedy, thankfully, no one's like, "Can you do roving comedy?"
Oh, that would be
just walking around telling people jokes as they walk by, whispering in their ear.
Yeah, like comedy's so special because I always used to say this, and I don't know if you would agree, but like comedy, if you're not ready for it, if you're like in a restaurant or with your friends and someone's like, "Hi, I'm a comedian. I'm going to make you laugh." It's set up weird. It's like it doesn't work that way. Whereas magic can work that way because it's based in a mystery. There's a mystery element. So if you're not ready for a magic trick, it can happen and the moment of wonder can still exist even if they're not ready. But a belly laugh, you don't know what they're doing right now. Like you don't know where they're coming from or, so I always thought comedy's different. It's a very unique thing, and comedy has a very specific goal. A laugh. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a laugh there. Like if you can get them to laugh, you just get a point. It's like, hey, magic, there's no, you can do a trick that's so good they won't applaud.
Right.
But
there is a release.
There's a release.
It is still building that tension, but it's just the payoff is either like or sometimes it's just nothing.
Yeah,
sometimes
or nothing.
It's shock. Right.
Yeah.
But nothing can also mean nothing means something. It just doesn't.
Right. And I had to learn from performing the moments where they're like, I was doing the disappearing girl bit where I yank the cloth off the bottom and I make her disappear and they all think she's in the bottom, and then I do the cloth bit and people weren't like clapping, and I could see that they were impressed. They were like that. So what I do is I rip the cloth off and I take one step forward, and then that's like, oh, like that got them to clap. I had to like cue it almost.
Yeah, that's great
know.
that you even know. I mean, but that all happened because you figured out if I take a step forward, people will clap. I mean, that's all because you have to put it on stage to figure it out.
Yeah, and that's it. It's all flight time. And what was that before? Because we're getting close here. You have to bounce.
I'm good.
I was going to ask you, out of all the performing venues, what would you say is your favorite type?
Ooh,
like, because
okay.
you do cruise boats and theater. You've done all of the above.
Sure.
So
I love a good theater. I've done, like, I love, comedy clubs when you're in a good room and it's like they're getting it. Nothing's better because they're so close.
Yeah, you can feel it physically.
When you can feel it, you can really just feel. But when you're in a theater and they're still packed in, pre-COVID, post-COVID, they're packed in. They're tight. Whew,
I know.
Great.
And with theater, because of a theater, this is why I like theater. If I get to do a magic show in a theater, the detail comes out. They'll notice all the real small details. When you're in a nightclub, a lot of it goes by, but in the theater, you can hear a pin drop. You can.
It's definitely not the cruise ships because people are on vacation. You're doing your show. You hear someone making a pina colada at the bar.
Yeah. My favorite gigs, I would say, like for me, is I get some weird gigs that I know for a fact no other performers are getting. And example. Well, example is it's hard to say it online, but some nefarious crew.
I get it.
Lots of them. And I get a lot of those, and they're very amusing. I mean, as a entertainer for a private function, we get to be in the belly of the beast of sorts and see from our point of view their world, or from their point of view their world. And so those are my favorites just for, like, when I get home, I'll write in a journal about them. I'll be like, wow, that was really wild.
I don't mind. Like, that's the great thing about doing what we do is that no two shows are the same, especially when you're doing some odd private party or something. When you're a performer and you're at the level that Cardone and I are at, like when a private party, like email comes in, you're like, is it worth it? Because there are so many things that are probably going to go wrong. Yeah. But you're definitely going to have a good story to tell.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you're in their living rooms and their loft apartments, and they rented out a catering hall. My God.
And you get to see what like people with money are really like behind closed doors.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. These are the ones where I'm like, wow, we just did that party. I mean, I the one that I did, it was like, 5 years ago. So I did Aretha Franklin's birthday. I could do a one-man show on just that night and tell the story of all the weird shit going on. It was about 60 people. It wasn't that big of a party. It was like 60 people. Most of them were either politicians. It was all like newscasters and politicians, and like
Sure.
Al Sharpton was there. It was like
Great.
that. And so just that alone, I'm like, that memory of
That's
like
so
just
great.
from being,
You're in it.
you're like, wow, I get to see how they literally interact with each other. Like, I have a picture of, it's Don Lemon and Attorney General Eric Holden doing a selfie. And I saw them and I was like, I got a picture of it.
That's amazing.
Like that, And at
I
one
love
point
that
there was
stuff.
a cha-cha line. They started doing a cha-cha line, and I was like, I'm getting in this thing. And it was like Charlie Rangel was behind me. I forget who was in front of me, but it was just like, wow, why is she hanging out with all these politicians? It's very weird.
I know the guy who books Vince McMahon from the WWE,
Oh,
his holiday party, and big wrestling fan. Would love
me
to,
too.
but they always want a magician. So I'm never. You would be great at it.
I
You
would
would
love
actually
it.
do.
I
should.
love it.
I'll tell the guy. We can chat after. But it's.
Yeah.
I think you would have been amazing at that gig, and I think you would see a lot of things. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah, I'm
Crazy.
sure. I mean, it's just crazy. I'm trying to think of the other ones I can mention that were weird. Some of them I'm like, I'm not allowed to say.
Of course, yeah. The ones that you have to sign the NDAs for.
I've had to do that.
Are usually the boring ones where nothing good happens.
Yeah, the guys I'm working for, there's no NDAs. There's none of that. They're just like, don't post any pics, don't do this. That's it.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool.
Yeah, exactly.
One of them let me take a couple photos, but for your own for your own stuff.
Sure.
But I was just like, this is hilarious.
That is crazy though. I love that.
I do too. I mean, that's what showbiz is. We get to share. We get to meet people. We get to hang out with people, meet them.
Do you want to talk TikTok real quick?
Oh, yes. So this gentleman right here, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in here right now, hit the like, hit the subscribe, but go find him on TikTok. Tell us about TikTok.
Yeah. Oh my God.
How many people do you have following you on TikTok?
Like
now?
640,000 or something.
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people, but the stuff I make is just really silly. And it's like my goal on TikTok, and I've never discussed this publicly, but I'm happy to, is to make videos that look real, but that are fake to see if they go viral.
Okay.
So it's like a big social experiment to me. I try to create moments that are really short. TikTok's real short.
It's a minute, right? It's like less than a minute.
Yeah, but I'm posting like 20-second things.
Okay.
And I want to see what people will believe, and if I can. So I did this one recently where I dressed up like a pizza delivery man. I bought a pizza delivery case, a red one.
Oh, the bag,
and
the zippy thing.
The bag,
yeah.
the bag. And I put on a baseball hat, and I had a polo shirt on with a pizza logo. And I went on an airplane with it. I had my wife record me. Like, she was just like, oh my God, look at this guy on an airplane. And then I just she got like footage of me coming off the gate and following me. And the flight, we went to Milwaukee.
So
and
you
then I go
flew in character the whole way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
totally.
Just great.
And then I took out, I met a guy at baggage claim, and I took out, like, just a friend from high school, and I took out pizza boxes, gave them to him, and then I went up back, through security and on another flight. But like, you just see like this pizza guy on a flight, you're like, what the heck is going on? I got like 5 million views, and I had to turn the comments off because all the comments were like, that's you. It's just you. And I was like, I know, but I don't want other people to know. So I took off the comments just to see like what would happen. And it got, that's like the kind of stuff that's really fun for me. I don't hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not trying to be rude or controversial. I just like think of funny situations that people could be in, and then I make a funny video of it. Like I did one
happen. You create
then I make it happen. And they're not all like big extreme. Like I did this one recently where I took fishing bait, and all I did is the what do you call it when you do the nail in the head? The nail in the nose. Blockhead. It's just blockhead, but I took fishing bait. I took this like 6-inch worm, threw it up my nose. Then I rented out a doctor's office, and I had my friend Blaze, who's a phenomenal actor, pretend to be a doctor and like extract it from my nose. And that got like 10 million
Oh
views.
my god.
It's just crazy. Or maybe it's like even more. But people are like, what is wrong with you? How'd you get it up there? But I'm just doing a simple blockhead magic trick, but like just instead of a nail, it's a fishing bait.
Wow. Well,
But it's so like that. That's the kind of stuff I'm doing on TikTok. But I've never like publicly said like I'm just doing it just to see what happens. Like this, it's an
yeah.
experiment to see. Because what I was doing before the pandemic was I was posting clips of my show and I was posting stand-up clips. But then when that all dried up and because I wasn't performing anymore, I was like, because of the pandemic, I was like, okay, well let's create other content and see what happens.
Dude, that's what I did. I mean, my Instagram and everything was like a little bit here and there to advertise some live gigs I was doing, but
Mm-hmm.
I had no intention of doing this kind of stuff. I mean, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it's actually funny. My son was like, dude, you need to like use all of these other things to point to this. Like, start focusing a bit. Like, do these other things, but they're all leading to your YouTube-y stuff.
Your YouTube.
And it's like
Yeah, that's the thing I need to get better at.
yeah, it's hard.
What I've been doing is commenting. Well, I will say, dude, TikTok is great because in your TikTok profile, you can direct people to YouTube and to Instagram.
I have to start.
So I think you got to start. I'll be happy to hop on a call with you.
I do.
Well, I'll be happy to hop on a call with you because I think you could do really good. You know our friend Magic?
Yes, of course. He's all over it now.
So he's great on TikTok. He does a lot of videos, like close-up stuff. But I think you have such a really good look and a really good like you have like a great backdrop. You have a lot of stuff you can talk about surfing. You can talk about your band, magic, your collectibles. So I think people would be interested, and then you can direct them to your YouTube in a great way.
Check it out. Yeah, I'm gonna really listen to you on this one because I have had a lot of people tell me I need to jump over there a bit. Instagram is just a little bit of a supplement. Now my question is, why doesn't YouTube have a bulletin board? I can't believe YouTube doesn't have a bulletin board.
What do you mean by that?
So like if you go to my channel, it has my videos, but I wish there was a little thing on there, which there kind of is, but no one looks at it because it's the way it's set up, but something right away that's like, I can post, hey, tonight there's this show, and I can post, like Instagram, but on YouTube. Like a little sidebar.
That's a great... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I haven't done too much. See, like you're trying to get everyone to YouTube. I'm trying to get everyone to Instagram right now, and then probably eventually, I think it all goes to YouTube, right? Like that's what you want to get.
It's just monetizing.
What I've been doing is putting on today I started, actually, I did it like 20 times, is people commented on my TikToks and I wrote, find me on Instagram. And I haven't seen much, people, like you have to do that, like manually type that out. But
yeah, I mean, Instagram's weird, or YouTube now with its rules, I mean, the corporate crunch is now on, and I posted a video last week of me on stage with Joey Ramone. It's my video. It's Joey and me playing on stage, and they flagged the video for a copyright claim. And it's a live video.
Is this on TikTok?
No, this is YouTube.
Oh, YouTube.
Yeah.
Ooh,
and I was like, how do you get around? I mean, I'm literally...
You should be able to fight that,
Well, I did.
Right?
I did, but, it's hard to say. Like, I'm worried that in the future, like, things in the background will get flagged. Like, you can't show that. It's like, it's going to get like that. Like you're going to be, everything is like owned by somebody. Like this cup design. They're like, can't hold that cup in the video. It's like, okay, can't hold the cup.
Yeah, the copyright things are a big problem. What's even more of an issue is sometimes I'll post videos and people will just take them and post them as their own content, which really bothers me because a lot of times they'll do better than my own content does. Like I posted one video, got like 200 views. Then someone else took the same video, my video, not the idea. They took the actual video and they posted and they get like millions of views and they're monetizing that. So they're making money off my work, which I just like, you can't get in your head too much about it. It'll just make you angry. Yeah. And there are ways you can fill out forms, but TikTok's not very good about taking that stuff down immediately. Facebook and Instagram and YouTube are good at that, as you've as you've
Yeah,
seen.
dude. I mean, it's like,
But yeah, just people's content
I mean,
stealing is
dude, the
not cool.
music bit. I 99% of all music anybody ever hears on any of my stuff, I wrote and perform on, which is
I
I'm
know.
lucky, and I'm lucky that I can do that. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't. I hate the canned music I hear people use. I watched a variety show last week. Everybody's using this royalty-free crap. Oh, it
Yeah,
hurts
it's
me.
gross. I mean, actually, when I was thinking back how we first met, I think it might have been through Toilet Boys, because you and I almost shared a manager for a while. When I first moved to New York in 2004, I signed with this man named Joseph Janis, and he had a company called Fearless Management. And I
Yeah.
swear Toilet Boys were on there, or Miss Guy was on there.
I think we did do that for a minute. Yeah, we went through a bunch. We even had Motley Crue's manager for a minute. That was a whole.
Sure.
Oh my god. So Fearless Management. I'm trying to think.
I
of
remember
who our
there
person
was photos. I think, yeah.
If
But
the name of the person, our point person there, I don't remember.
it would have been Joseph. I think it was only one
It
person.
might have been. Yeah. I mean,
But I don't know who was doing your business, because that would have been who, I don't know if
Yeah.
it was you or whoever, but then when I found out, then you and I became friends. And I don't think I knew that you were in that band, but I think had met Guy at a New York
Oh,
Dolls
yeah,
show
yeah,
in
yeah.
like 2004 or something. And I want to say
Wow.
Steven, is that the tall man in your
Sean.
group? Sean, I knew it started with an S, and I saw him once, and it was like, maybe it was that Limelight or something. It was like one of those like weird, really like old clubs that's not around anymore, but
Yeah, we were
legend.
there all the time.
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
But then when I
Wow.
found out that was you, I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, how can you be good at two things? Like, how is he so good at all this stuff? Made me
That
mad.
band was crazy. We actually get to play at Webster Hall next November. We're playing with Lunatics.
Are you gonna do crazy pyro and everything?
No. You can't.
No.
You can't. You can't. If you can,
that-
it's $1 million show. I mean, you have to spend.
Right. But you did like 2 or 3 years ago. You guys played maybe like a Pride Fest or something. Was that right?
We
or
did.
like some like
we
peer
did
some
Wigstock.
peer show in Chelsea. Wigstock. That's it.
Yeah.
I was out of town on a ship, and I used to miss everything cool I ever wanted to do, because I'd be on a cruise ship. People are like, why do you live in New York and you're never home? I'm like, I don't.
You're working. It's work.
It's true.
It's not vacation.
True.
People think when you're performing it's vacation. It's like, no, there's work involved. It's like,
Yeah. I mean, sometimes there are nice moments, but yeah, most of the time it's
like with the band.
trying to.
I was all over the world and I saw nothing. I mean, I saw nightclubs.
Of course,
I mean,
you
I
saw
was just
airports
like,
and the back of a bus.
and driving and in the back and sleep. Yeah, it's fun, but after a while, I couldn't tour anymore. That kind of touring would kill me.
I would love to do it. I think I'm at that age where I have like a few more years left where I could do it pretty like hardcore, I think. Because I don't really drink. I don't do drugs.
Drink,
I'm pretty like healthy in that sense. And I think like I physically, my body could.
Yeah, you would do well.
Take it.
Yeah, you're young. How old are you now, if I may ask? Do you tell
I'm
people?
35.
Oh yeah,
sure.
You're right in the pocket. You're really good. I'm 47. You see how I had to pause? I had to like stop and go.
Yeah, it is weird when people are like, how can I ask how old you are? Like, and you were very polite about it, but I never understand. Like, I think I get it, because some people are like, well, if I'm too old, people won't book me or something. I'm like, I don't think that's ever really been an issue.
Dude, people don't give a shit.
I don't think so.
If you're good
I really don't.
and they like your act, they'll book you as an old man, a young guy.
Right.
If you're funny, you're funny. No one stopped booking George Carlin when he got old.
He got better.
He's got better.
Like you're gonna you want to fine wine, not a Capri Sun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean he's one of my favorites. That guy's just like.
Whoa. Oh yeah, he's great.
He's an.
Never
artist.
got to see him, but read all of his books.
Yeah, he's a genius. Wow, dude.
I wanted to tell you real quick before we signed off. You're talking about philosophy.
Yeah.
And I never got into that. I honestly never did. And I enjoy reading, but I enjoy reading autobiographies and like stuff that's like too meta. I get in my head and I start daydreaming. But there's this guy on TikTok, and his name's Abraham Piper, and he's an artist. But he's like this guy. that, and you can follow him. Like if you go to who I follow, I only
Yep.
follow like 40 people. He's one of them. And he just like has really clear thoughts about very like heavy topics. And one of them was about creativity. And he was
Ooh.
like, if you're in a creative rut, like he was saying, I'm gonna kind of like not say this correctly, but he was saying, if you're in a creative rut, creativity comes in waves. So just enjoy the rut, experience that, and then like another wave of creativity will eventually come to you. That's how it
That's
works. No
stoicism.
one's ever no one is ever always just creating all of the time. It has
Yeah,
to come, and when it comes, take advantage of it, but don't be upset that it's not here yet, because that's part of the process. And for
exactly.
me, I get down on myself when I sit down and I want to write a joke or write some bits. And I just can't think of anything, and I'm like, oh, like nothing's coming out. I just have to remember just to like, and like that video really reminded me, okay, I just have to relax and just like enjoy not being able to write.
Right, and
And
that's the secret, is to be able to enjoy the hardship part.
mm-hmm.
Because and in stoicism it's called amor fati. It means
Okay.
love your fate. So when bad things are happening to you, you're like, yeah, I can take more. I can take more. Give it to me. More. I can take it. I'm learning now. And when after you're done slapping me, I'm going to be way stronger. That's amor fati. It's like, bring it on.
Wait, I'm gonna write that
Yeah,
down.
amor fati. Yeah, and I love that. I've always loved that. Like, that's why when bad things are happening, you're like, I'm in training ground. Here we go. Because
Mm-hmm.
that bad stuff's always going to keep coming back. As we
Oh
get
yeah,
older,
absolutely.
we start to physically suffer. People start dying. It's coming. So any of these bad times or creative ruts, yeah, just get used to it. Feel it.
Right.
Feel what it's like and enjoy it. Surfers, the big wave surfers, I heard this one guy say, when you're riding these massive waves, the wipeouts are literally, you can die, and they're horrible. So what do? You enjoy them. When it happens, you relax, trust you're going to be okay, and pretend like you're just having fun. You're on a roller coaster. You're getting thrown
Mm-hmm.
in the thing, and if you don't do that, you're now panicking and your heart's beating fast,
Right.
and that's bad.
Well, that's like, yeah, that's also a good way to survive not drowning.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, you just got to chill out and relax. Like, everything's good. When
Mm-hmm.
I do the milk can, that's what I'm doing. I'm in there just chilling and I'm doing my bits, but just calm. No stress.
This YouTuber just did this bit where he was buried alive for like 50 hours in a glass casket with
Oh
like
yeah.
dirt all over.
Ooh.
And I was thinking, I don't think I would panic. Could you do that though?
Okay, so really good question. Honestly, doing the milk can has
Mm-hmm.
made me even more claustrophobic to the point.
Wow.
Yes, it's actually messed me up a bit. I have a hard time flying now. I have
Ooh.
I have a hard time riding roller coasters because of the seat. And what it is,
Mm.
as soon as you put me in a situation where I'm not in control, it's not cool. The milk can, I know what I'm doing. I have a process. I'm like, okay, it's good. I just got to chill here for a minute and work on this, then I work on that, and then I'm out. When I'm in an airplane seat and I'm jammed in, or I'm in the roller coasters, I'm like, I'm stuck here. I'm at their mercy. I can't
Mm-hmm.
lockpick this and get out if I want. You know, so it's
Right.
made me worse.
Wow. That's really
Yes,
interesting.
it really is interesting. I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, wow. I think it's because when I'm doing escapes, I've studied them and I have a process. The 50-foot rope escape is one of the bad ones because you don't know how they're going to tie you up. You can guess, but some people are crazy and do some crazy stuff. And I've had that come close to being like horrific. And like,
Right.
but I have a process.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't panic. But you put me in some situation where it's not perfect. Oh,
Yeah, I hear you.
wow, dude, we have to hang out in the flesh now because I haven't seen you in a
Yes.
while.
Yes, please.
And we had this great crowd in here asking questions. Um, We're gonna bounce this now because we've been chatting for an hour and 20 minutes.
I love
It
it.
seems like it's been 10 minutes.
It does. It went by real quick. I can't wait.
Folks,
Is it? Oh my gosh! It's 20 past
do
9.
do
I
your
had no
plugs.
idea.
What are your plugs now? You got some plugs here.
Find me on Instagram. Just type in Marcus Monroe. Please find me there. You can also find me on TikTok. I guess if you want to see crazy stuff I'm doing. and now you're in the know of what I'm doing, so you can be enjoy the ride.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah, just
fascinating.
come see a live show. I'm doing a show tomorrow in Brooklyn on a rooftop. And I post all my shows on my Instagram. So
Yeah, you post all your public shows when you're on tours and doing stuff.
sure.
So follow
Hmm.
his Instagram and his TikTok, and
Sure.
anybody wherever you are, because I have people here from Australia and all sorts of stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
groovy.
yeah, you'll yeah, they'll find you and come see you.
I
And
love it.
and
Thank you for
you,
having me.
when you get free time, come party at the beach anytime. If you and your lady are
I'm
like, let's get out of here for a minute, just come over here.
Yeah, I'd love to, man. I'd love to. You're not that far.
Not that it's Rockaway Beach, not that hard, not that far to reach. You can hitch a ride to Rockaway Beach.
I love that, man. I love it. And look, I wanted to say, look at how it's going beautifully now.
Oh my god, it's rocking it perfectly. It's like mine. Except mine's
No,
boiling hot.
it is super hot now. I've never really like helped, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
hot.
And it looks
What?
like a Coke bottle at the top. It's hilarious.
It does.
You'd think
Very
they'd
cute.
have a better way to cap them off at this point, like a nice screw on or some sort of.
It's got the batch number and everything. I like it.
Wait, what's your batch number? Let's see if ours are even. Sold. Wouldn't that be fun?
2124.
I'm
F2124.
putting on my peepers here. What do you? H5225. Wonder what that all means.
We'll never know.
Those letters might be country of manufacture, because Pez have them too.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. We can hang for hours, talk about.
Of course, we
nonsense.
should.
I love it. Buddy, I'm gonna bounce out.
Yo,
Actually, you bounce
too.
out first. You click out. I'm
All
gonna
right.
stick in here.
All right. I just
Um,
want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you for being active in the chat. This was a great experience. Cardone, you're one of my favorite people. Thank you for having me.
Back
and,
at you,
and
brother.
it would be great to chat sometime, anytime. Just call me anytime.
I'm gonna call you
Call
in the
me.
next day, and we're gonna chat about TikTok. Because I
Oh,
have a
great.
couple
Yeah,
questions.
I have answers. You guys have a great night, everyone. Thank you.
Dude, thank you so much, Marcus. Bye bye.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Yep. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to my live cam. Oh my. Wow, that was awesome. Oh wow, thank you so much, Marcus. He's one of my favorite people too. I could chat with him about art, performance, life, all of the above. I love it. It's such a it's so fun when you meet somebody. I'm getting my zoom off here. When you meet somebody, let me know if you can still hear me. I think you can. When you meet somebody and you admire what they do, and you admire their character, their virtues, their backbone, and that guy's got great. I'm sure you can tell in the interview. His heart is in the right spot. And I love that he brought up the stoic thing at the end about, I have to look that up, that guy, Abraham Piper, about, enjoying the bad part of the creative process. And all I have to say of that, and anybody here that has anything that they do, even if it's not a creative job, but just a work problem you have to solve, my solution to that is, if you need to sit down and work on it and you're having a problem, oh, Marcus, thank you. Get out a notebook, get out your marker, and sit and just be in this rut and take notes, and maybe some things will come to mind. Write down ideas, even if you think they're bad. That's another one. When you're having a bad time coming up with a solution to a problem, whether it be for creative stuff like art stuff or just work, just start writing down ideas, even if they're bad ideas, but actually write them down. It kind of unlocks things and sometimes gets you to see things in new ways. Similar to, what do people do when they feel like they're not in control, when they're not able to get something they want? They go see a fortune teller, a tarot card reader, some sort of astrologer, right? And I always thought one of the best ways for problem solving actually are in tarot cards. And if you watch my tarot card episode on Behind the Devil's Curtain, it's because if you have a problem and you're meditating on it and you can't come up with a solution, if you're looking at random cards that have symbolism and some sort of meaning, if you pull out 3 random cards and then use those as the bouncing ground for the problem, you're going to come up with new answers. It's going to force your brain to go in some areas that you might not have gone into. And I use that as a problem solver all the time. It just kind of, it's a way, it's a tool to unlock your creative imagination a bit in the problem solving area. And if you enjoy that, you're ready. Because that means when you're not doing well, you're able to go into this zone of just like, you're going to work it out, which is what he said. I love it. Love when you're in these ruts. Amor fati, love your fate. It's all good. It's all learning. And yeah. Here we go, Peter. I make lists of ideas. Yeah. Oh, my God, Peter. I think you're a lot like me. Yeah, you're writing stuff down all the time. Yeah, that's me too. Folks, wow, what a show. I love doing these interviews. I have a lot of really awesome friends, and I mean real friends. Like, I really like these people as personal friends, but I really do admire them as creative artists. I really do. If I like somebody or something, I make sure they know it, and I try to, give them my support all the way, because none of this is easy. If I don't like an artist or performer, I dismiss them quick. There's too much going on. I don't have time. There's a billion things going on, and, embrace the suck. I love it. I love it. Wow. We got a great crowd tonight. I was loving his stories, and I hope you were too. So, folks, if you're new to the channel, hit like, hit subscribe, hit notify, because Wednesday I have a show. I haven't decided yet what Wednesday's show is. We'll see. I'm working on it now, so I'll let you know on the internets. Find me on Instagram, Cardone Magic, and tell your pals about the channel. And anybody that donates, it goes right in the show. And if you noticed, there was a lot. Who won tonight? Anybody win any big? 10, 20. I know some people won 100 points tonight. I'm curious. This week, I'm going to add a new item. Add new item. And I'm going to make it a little bit easier to get to. Maybe we'll do 300 points. Let me think about it. So for 300 points, you can win something. Oh my God. But you didn't get the book yet, Peter. Which is funny because the book I sent regular mail, not in the priority box. Okay, cool. Really? That's crazy. So Peter just got his squishies. The book, oh my God. Rick Sherman has 521 points now. Oh my God. Rick, are you going to get... Rick is getting... Wow. All right, Peter. Live on. You can see some of them smell nice. Okay, so in that box of squishies, there's some good ones, but I threw in, most of them are good. There's a couple bad ones that I wanted you to put in just because I want you to feel. Like, you can feel some of them aren't soft, slow moving, and some are fast. So you're going to have fun. You need to be... Ashworth is asking if they smell nice. Yeah, you need to sit down, have a little nip of the drink or a little green, sit down and go through the texture and the smell experience. Let's see. Oh my gosh, people are still gambling. I love watching you guys do this. I can't believe Rick Sherman has 521 points. Wow. Amazing. I got to bounce, folks. It's 9:30. Sometimes these go to an hour and a half. I've got stuff to do. It's Monday night. It's my favorite night of the week. And I have a lot of little things I'm going to work on tonight. And what is tomorrow? I have a busy week. I have a lot of I have an online show and oh gosh. I'm doing 3 things tomorrow. Tomorrow I record the Poopy podcast. I will let you know when it's up. It's a podcast about poop. And I think it has a pretty large following. So I'm going to be on that tomorrow, but it's not live. And I'm teaching a magic class. Oh, yeah, here we go. The squishy update. You smell some of them? Some of them just have a nice smell. I love how meta everything has become. How, like... Yeah. I'm curious. I'm trying to wait here for Peter to write if he smelled them yet. I'm curious. I think he did. Let's see. Huh. Well, I'll give it a second. If you're new to the channel, hit like, hit subscribe, hit notify. You all know that. I keep saying it. I recently got over the 700 hump thanks to Clownvis. Anybody check out Clownvis? Look at episode 150. I just did it. All right, you get the full report next show. You can give like a little like, maybe take a picture and send me your favorite one and I'll post it. I'm curious which one you like the best. I have a box of my favorites that I actually like to squeeze. You guys rule, man. I really like doing this show because of my crowd. This is a fun crowd. Oh, cool. This is going to be great. Folks, party on. I will see you Wednesday. And, yeah, have a great Monday, folks. Read a book, learn something, make some food, and tell your loved ones that you love them. That's all. Party on. I'm going to give you the end credits.